Imagine you started going to the gym, and a year later you look back on yourself and you kind of take a collection of what you've done in that year. Well, last month in October I hit that 1 year mark, and it felt really freaking good. In that year, I ended up working out 187 times. I'd signed up for a gym at World Gym here in Tucson, and I'm a fan of it. I like the atmosphere. I like the machines. I like everything about it. This is a Smith machine that I was doing some shoulder pressing on. Almost lost the camera on this shot. Oh, let's see if I can get one more. Nope. But I ended up, like I said, I went 187 times in a year, and I had a chance to look back and see what I did and kind of just make some mental notes. Now I'll tell you, most of these were at World's Gym, but I took trips last year and some this year, and ended up going to some other gyms as well. Like I ended up visiting the World Gym in Houston. Allegedly, this is the biggest World Gym in the country. It's like 100,000 square feet, if I remember right. Then I went to Colorado for a strongman event and ended up hitting up some gyms there. Went to this one gym, Revolution Gym. It was pretty cool, being that it's decent weather in Colorado, not like here in Arizona. They had an outdoor gym. Basically, it was a gym that they had bay doors open. That was kind of unique and different. I thought that was pretty neat. They had some decent equipment, lots of cool people there. That was fun. I ended up going to another one, Fit Gym, and this was a location that in the middle of the 3-day Strongest Man on Earth event up near Denver, in Loveland, Colorado. Mitch Hooper, a World's Strongest Man, had a community workout. I think was it Friday night? I think it was Saturday night. And I went there and we did a few things. I did a yoke carry, log press, and here I was doing the silver dollar deadlift, which was first time I've done any 3 of those things. And it was a great time. It was a great event. I've never done this silver dollar deadlift before.
Yeah.
This was about 50 or 60 pounds heavier than I normally would do in a conventional deadlift. It was fun. Everybody here was here for the event, just coming to work out. The gym would normally be closed around this time, but they ended up opening it up for that special event. So that was a really, really awesome thing to do, really awesome thing to experience. And then looking back on the year, so other than making sure I didn't miss too many other days, I basically tallied up out of those 187 gym sessions over the year that I first did this, that I really only missed 4 days. And I went through the numbers again because I expected that to be higher. So outside of planned rest days or the occasional week off that I would mix in to let joints heal, catch up on recovery, or when I was actually sick, like I had a fever or I was literally throwing up, that's the stat I'm most impressed with for myself. I only missed 4 days that I should have and could have gone. And that's really the days that add up. That was impressive to me. Now, during the year, I also did 2 different cuts where I ended up doing a 3-month cut. The first 3-month cut, I ended up losing 30.1 pounds. And then I just wrapped up recently a second cut that I did for 2 months where it was 20 pounds on the dot. And so that was pretty interesting. That was fun. I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. But I'm really, really impressed with what I've done here. One thing I'll note, you can easily see where my cuts were if I didn't put the boxes around them. But you'll see the first 3-month cut, solid, going down about 10 pounds a month. That was 3 months. And then over the next 4 months, I gained almost 20 pounds. Lost that 20 in 2 months on a cut. And then now I'm at the end and I got about 5 weeks left of the year. I'll probably gain another 4 or 5 pounds. I'm pretty much at like a maintenance level, but slightly over. So I'm not bulking. I'm not like intentionally gaining weight. It just slowly goes up, and then the cuts are enough to bring me back down. And things have been working amazing. And I have some before and after pics to really show some of that progress. This picture with the red shirt, I think that might have been the first week or two that I was at the gym. I was still feeling good, but comparison from then till now is quite impressive. This is again probably like the first month I was here. I can judge that based on my clothes, because I remember only having like a few things I could wear when I worked out. But definitely lost weight, gained muscles, skin got better. I mean, everything just ended up working for me pretty well. And in fact, before I even finished the full year at the gym, this is still early on. This is back in like May. The first picture here, these are both pictures with Chris Cyborg. She's an MMA fighter and champion. She goes to the Bitcoin conferences, and I met her the last 2 times I went. This was in Nashville back in 2024, and then the next picture was Vegas in 2025. It was May. So there's about 9 months between here, and really only about 6 months of me working out. And I could just, it's like night and day difference. I'm pretty impressed with myself on that. And then a couple other things here. Like for some reason, the red light room really likes to shine on the legs. So anytime I'm in the red light room, whether it's a leg day or not, the legs are just really popping. And I mean, everything's working out here. Just a little bit of gloating here. And then of course, got a picture with my gym bro. This is a couple months ago. We were both feeling pretty good that day. Pretty decent picture. So there's 7 things I want to go over. There's things I've learned that I want to share with others. Things I wish I knew before I worked out. And the biggest thing of all, the number one thing that I wish I knew before I started working out was creatine. I used to think this was like a gym bro supplement, that it's only for people that are working out. And yeah, there's a lot of benefits if you're working out, especially with muscle growth, hypertrophy, that having creatine in your system are just good benefits. But outside of that, outside of the gym, outside of working out, outside of any performance-based training, creatine is amazing. There's so many health benefits with it, especially for women and for older people. So especially if you're over 40 or you're female over 40, you cannot live your life without taking supplemental creatine. It's honestly something you can't avoid. I'll tell you a personal anecdote, a personal experience I had with this is I started taking it. And I, for about 2 or 3 years, not quite 3 years, but I was almost 3 years having leg cramps on a nightly basis. And I hydrated quite a bit. And then one thing that helped is I started taking some liquid IV, electrolytes, some other things, and that helped a little bit, but they were just a little less intensive. But it's just every night I was still having leg cramps, no matter how much I was hydrating. When I started taking this after a few days and got the full amount of my system after loading up, they almost went away completely. Like I still occasionally have them, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks if that, and they're not as intensive. But literally, creatine is the thing that stopped that dead in its tracks. Now there's other benefits. I don't want to go into all the science about it. Basically it does help you retain water in the good way. It helps store it in the muscles. Your muscles actually can use it. It actually helps when you're working out. It helps the muscle repair process. There's all benefits from it. Feels good. The gym bros love it, especially bodybuilders, because it does give you kind of a little bit of a bigger pump. It makes the muscles look bigger than they really are. There's a lot of benefits from it. It's cheap. It's easy to use. I do have one word of advice with it though. Stick to the powder. I have used gummies because I thought they were easier, and they are. I ended up reading an article talking about gummies that were not having actually any creatine in them when they tested them. And it linked to a video, and I watched the video, and the first one that comes up is the ones I had just bought in like 2 months before that video. These Happium ones. There's literally hundreds of creatine gummies out there that fit this mold. where there's no creatine in them. Like, long story short, to get one serving of creatine, 5 grams of it, would take like 2,000 gummies. And these come in bottles of 90. So I'd need to take like 20 plus bottles a day for one serve. They're basically just trace amounts of creatine. They're false advertisements. And more than 90% of gummies are like that. So although there's gummies out there, you can look for third-party testing and find, just get the powder. The powder without anything added. Don't worry about it having extra protein or collagens or anything. You're getting it for the creatine. Just get the powder. It's so easy to take. I have switched over recently to a micronized creatine powder. It just mixes a little bit better with water, a little less chalky. The chalkiness didn't bother me because I'm taking it not for the taste. It's not a refreshment. But I find it a little bit easier to digest, so that's what I kind of jumped over to. And yeah, it's not just a gym supplement for the bros, although this has always gotten me.
Then we had a scoop of creatine. Trying to get big, right? You trying to get huge? Had some more creatine and another one. And then we had some oatmeal. And then some creatine.
So yeah, creatine. Definitely something I wish I learned about before. The second thing I'll bring up, it's going to be a little pricey. So there's going to be a little bit more cost involved to this, but I got to keep it at number 2. It's probably the second biggest thing I've learned that I wish I knew before. And also, there's some benefits to this that are more than just, more than just the normal, more than just working out, more than benefits for that. And it is ketones. I end up getting the Ketone IQ, but there's a lot of other brands out there. They're roughly the same price, no matter how much they advertise saying they're cheaper than this brand or that brand or Ketone IQ. It's not. They're generally like $5 a bottle. You can get them on sale around $4. You can get really good deals online for like $3 or $3.50. Like going right to the website, if they got like a 30% off sale, there's ways to get it cheaper, but it's still pricey. But I'll tell you, there are very few things I've ever taken that I noticed an immediate effect from. Like, I'm talking same day, same workout, I felt a difference. They're not the easiest things to find. Like here locally, I had to find them at Sprouts. I heard they have them at the vitamin shop. I don't shop there, so I don't know. I saw some recent advertisement that Target started stocking them, but 2 Targets near me don't have them, so I don't know if that's actually accurate. But I see now why people do crazy things to get the benefit from this. So I've heard before about people that would get into a state of ketosis, and you have to do some wild things to do that. The 2 most popular ones are starving yourself, which forces your body to produce ketones, and you start breaking down fats, and you can do it that way, but you literally can't eat. And then there's another one that's a pretty hardcore carnivore only diet, where you can only have meats, and you can't have fats or carbs and a whole bunch of other things. It's pretty restrictive and difficult, and you have to do that for weeks, and then you get in that state of ketosis. But I get it now. It makes sense to me. I see why people do crazy things to get into that state. The best way I can describe it is, like, I started it on a leg day, which was a Wednesday, and my leg days were already pretty intensive. They're a big muscle group, and I work them out pretty heavy, and I actually enjoyed it. But I started doing deadlifts, and I started getting exhausted. Every leg day, I was just so tired, and I had this mental fatigue. And when I took a bottle of the Ketone IQ for the first leg day, I didn't have that mental fatigue and fogginess at the end of the workout. And the one thing I noticed, and I don't have the best way to describe it, but it felt like at the end of my workout, every breath of air had more oxygen in it. I'm not saying I could have continued on further, because I go to failure. I was working them out hard, and physically I don't know how much more I could have done, but it felt like I was recovering while I was breathing. It's just a weird way to explain that. And that was after the first time I tried it. So I ended up getting to the point now where I ended up taking them every day. I'll take 2 on days I work out, sometimes 3. Sometime early in the morning, shortly after I get up, I'll have a protein shake, but then I'll also have a serving of the ketones. And then on workout days, 5 days a week, I'll take one right before I work out. Occasionally, on some leg days, on Wednesdays, I end up playing some chess tournaments at the local chess club, and those are after the workout. And sometimes the games go on until about 8 p.m. at night. So in those days, sometimes I'll even take a third, just to have that extra mental focus and energy to kind of get through some of those intense games at the end of the night. Definitely look into it. It's not cheap, so it's not for everybody. But at the very least, I would highly recommend you try it once. You can get, I think if you go to Sprouts, I don't know if other places do this, you can scan a QR code, get one for free, but even if you pay full price and they're $5 each, just try a couple just to see how they affect you, what you think about them. To me, they're great. They're literally some of the best things ever. I end up keeping them in my fridge just because that's how they taste better in my mind. And then get them when they're on sale. That's what I end up doing. When there's a huge sale and they're like 25% off, or buy one, get one and it's 50%, I'd stock up on them. Going to the website, there's also ways you can get some good ones for some pretty big discounts. Now, I'll tell you something. One of the things I will bring up is point number 3, something that I learned going to the gym over this last year, and that's no one cares. You know how I know no one cares? No one's paying attention to me. No one cares what I look like. Nobody cares what I'm wearing. Nobody cares what I'm doing. Nobody's saying, oh, why is he or she lifting only that weight? That's pretty weak, or whatever. All these things that go through our minds when we're at the gym. Nobody cares. And I'll tell you specifically how I know. My gym buddy one day, so I work out with him 5 times a week, and he's on his phone all the time. And I remember, since he's there, I'm able to go to failure on something I normally can't, which is a bench press. You can do it on a Smith machine, you can do it on an Arsenal like a hammer strength, but when he's there, I get to do it on the bench. Problem is, I'm trying to go for hypertrophy, so I'm trying to go until I go to the point where I can't do anymore, literally till failure. But that's cool because he's there, because then he can grab it and help me rack it, and that's it. Well, I had a little bit lower weight, hadn't got up to my max weight, and I thought I could do 2 more, but I couldn't even do 1 more. I got stuck. Oh man, and I'm failing big time. So I yell at his name, and he just doesn't respond. I'm like, David. And literally half the gym I could sense is like looking at me because I'm screaming out his name and he's not paying attention. My last option as I'm running out of air is like, I'm just gonna have to push this bar off somehow to the side. Like let it roll off and just kind of let it somersault and hope it doesn't somersault into the girl working out next to us and kill her. But he finally like, I thought I heard my name. Like, yeah, no kidding, bro. So full disclaimer, my gym bro, he's on his phone 75, 80% of the time, maybe 90% of the time. And maybe there's 2 or 3 minutes he's on it for work. He's not on it for work for hours, but he's on Instagram and all this other stuff for an hour and a half. So he might be a unique case. But my point is, literally the guy that's there to work out with me isn't even paying attention to me. And that's the same for everybody else. I don't recognize much when other people are doing stuff, unless it's something super impressive and they're right next to me. I don't care. Like if somebody has a low weight, doesn't matter. If some older person's there with some baggy, I don't care. Clothes, like whatever you're wearing, doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing, doesn't matter. You're doing some weird thing you saw on TikTok, whatever. Nobody cares. So just the point is, for this point number 3, just get out of your head. Just go to the gym. Surprise, nobody cares. If you were actually going to talk to anybody, every interaction is positive. Whether if you talk to a girl there, you talk to a guy there, you talk to a staff member, it doesn't matter. It's all positive interactions. All right, number 4 is the biggest secret of them all. It's the biggest secret that's not a secret. Diet and food, what you eat. So I heard this all the time too, and generally, like most people, dismissed it after agreeing with it. Yeah, that makes sense, and then kind of move on and not make any really big change. This was the game changer. This was what really helped me get gains and to see improvement and to feel improvement, which made my gym sessions even better. It's all about calories. Whatever anybody says about all these special gimmicks and tricks doesn't matter. It's calories. If you are in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. Now, the trick for me is I was not wanting to lose muscle, so I specifically wanted to find ways to lose weight, but specifically fat. So I started tracking calories and protein. The tip I have for anybody who's never done this before is don't worry about macros. Don't worry about tracking all your calories, your fats, your carbs, and your protein, all 4 things, and trying to get them at a certain percentage in each meal and a certain time of day. Don't worry about that. If you're trying to lose weight and not lose muscle, which is what I'm talking about here, just track calories and protein. Calories are so you can get that deficit. If you eat less calories than your body expends, over time you lose weight. Protein, I was trying to get 300 grams a day at bare minimum 250 because I weighed over 300 pounds. And there's a lot of science and talk about should you have 1 gram per pound? Should it be 1.5 grams per lean muscle mass? Don't worry too much about that. My point is you want to have a high protein diet, figure out what amount you want to hit, and make sure you're hitting that. That makes the calories that you pick in the food you have a little bit more difficult, but you're not getting so overwhelmed that you're trying to figure out the fats, you're trying to figure out the carbs. I literally could eat anything I wanted, but it had to be high protein because I had a certain number of calories I was trying to hit, and the protein was there because I didn't want to lose muscle. So as I was working out, still maintaining muscle, still growing muscle, I wanted all that weight loss, that calorie deficit to be coming from the calories. And it worked. It was easy. Just start with that. Track calories. If you're working out at the gym or you're trying to save muscle mass, keep your protein up. One little side note on this here is something that was very interesting that I didn't learn until just a few months ago was how your body burns calories. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it here, but look it up. Thermodynamic effect of food. There's 4 different categories that your body will burn calories. One is actual physical exercise, like you go running, you ride a bike, walk on a treadmill, stuff like that. Then there's the movement, non-exercise. That's like getting steps in, like you're actually physically active. You're walking to your car, you park a little farther away from the store, so you're getting more steps in that way. Just things that are not physical activity intentional. And then there's the actual part about food, which is why you eat more protein. Your body actually, it's the 3rd highest way you lose calories. It's your body metabolizing food. That's why protein diets tend to help with that. But the biggest way that your body loses calories, how it spends calories, is just living. Energy to expend for your lungs to work, to breathe, your heart to pump blood through your whole body, to keep your muscles fit, active, fed, and alive. So the more muscle you have, the more calories you're burning, even while you sleep. And that's 60 to 70% of all calorie loss. So thermodynamic effect of food, thermodynamic effect of energy, look that up. So number 5, this should probably be 4B because it's kind of in relation to the food and diet, but it really encompasses everything. Ignore your friends' advice and comments. I'm sorry. They're trying to be nice, sure. They're being polite. Just be polite back and thank them, but ignore it. I'll tell you, the biggest thing that surprised me was the amount of friends that wanted to tell me how to lose weight after I already started losing weight to the point where they noticed. And that's why we started talking about it. That surprised me. I'm like, why are you pushing this routine that you saw on Instagram, a reel on it? Like, or worse yet, why are you trying to push drugs on me? Why are you saying I should take this and that while I do this to lose weight? I'm like, okay, so you heard a friend that saw some advertisement for it and said it really works. Cool. Nod my head, thank them, and ignore it. Why would I want to change anything? What I'm doing, I'm losing weight without drugs, and it's working. Why would I want to change that? Now, sure, there may come a time where I get to this point, or I hit a plateau and I need something a little bit extra to be able to hit my goals. But why risk that now when I'm literally hitting all my goals? The calories and proteins are working. If I ever want to get really focused, I could always add in more the macros and learn how to do all that other stuff that I mentioned to ignore when you're starting out. There's a lot of things I can do without resorting to drugs or crazy things. So just do what I do. Smile, little fake smile, nod, thank them for the advice, and then immediately ignore it. If it's working, it's working. Just do it. Ignore your friends. 6 is a little rude. I'm going to be a little abrasive here. And I get it. Time is scarce. And so people that know me personally tell me I have all the time in the world, which to a degree is true. Without going into it, I retired a little over 2 years ago, so I have a little bit more time to focus on the things I want to do. But let's be honest, there's gyms that are open 24/7. There's some people that even have gyms at their work, and they can go for free, and they still don't go. So time is scarce, but here's the key. You give time to what matters to you. So if like getting healthy doesn't matter to you, you'll spend your time doing other things. I'm going to say that again. You give time to what's important to you. Right? I'll tell you about myself. So I retired, I have zero income. I have no money. Anytime I need to pay a bill, I have to sell an asset, an investment. And the gym membership's about $60 a month. And then I drive about 35 minutes each way to the gym I go to. So that's about an hour travel a day, 5 days a week. That's a lot of time just driving. And then on top of it, $60 a month when I don't have an income means I got to sell some asset that's going up that I don't want to sell. Because I don't have a regular income, that's how I have to do it. So can you guess where working out fits in my list of priorities? At least over the last year? I get it. I used to watch 4 to 10 hours of football a week. Other sports too. That's like 200 to 500 hours a year just sitting watching sports. I would watch TV shows and movies. I used to play video games, but I also used to be 380 pounds. I prioritized my time with what I wanted to spend it on. And I did all that while working 50 hours a week. That's how I was going to end up working until the day I die. Literally. So what I'm saying is, think about how you spend your time. There's lots of tips on there on how to make your time count. Technically, when you think about it, there is more than 24 hours in a day when you really take an honest, critical look at how you do what you do. The whole saying, work smarter, not harder, is honestly true. The only time I've ever heard that said to me, I wanted to punch somebody in the face. So it's normally something I don't repeat, but it really is something that if you prioritize it, you can find time to get to a gym. Do it. The last major point that I wanted to kind of recap, things I learned, probably doesn't fit in this video, honestly. But I noticed a lot of people have problems with it, and it's weighing yourself daily. Now I get it. Like if going up 2 pounds in a day when you were really good the day before is a struggle for you to see, maybe you shouldn't do it every day. I'll give you that. Just do weekly. But I liked it daily. I saw by doing it daily, sometimes even a couple times a day, how food, water, calories, how they affected me over time. And that was a good learning experience. It really helped me to figure out what was going on. So going back to this chart here, it's super jagged. You know, a lot like Bitcoin, it's volatile, but it's volatile in a direction, right? You could see when I did my cuts, right? You wouldn't even need these boxes to see when I was cutting, right? So you had this 3-month beginning of the year where I lost 30.1 pounds and another 2 months where I lost 20. In between there, so I lost 30 pounds in 3 months, roughly 10 pounds a month. And then over the next 4 months, I gained about 20. I wasn't bulking. I was trying to stay as close as I could to maintenance, but I slightly went over. And over the long term, about 4 or 5 pounds a month, I gained. But it also was good gaining. I'm still taking creatine. I'm still working out heavy, eating my protein. I could feel myself getting stronger. I could see the muscles getting bigger. So some of that's muscle, but some of it's not, but it's definitely not a bulk. But my point with this is you can zoom in and take a look at this. Look at how some of these days are just like up 2 pounds, down 2, down 1, up 3, down. Just how jagged this is, right? This brighter line isn't always showing. What I'm seeing is the changes from day to day, and it's up and down, up and down. But over the long term, when I zoom out, it's going down. Or when I'm maintaining or gain a little bit, it's going slowly, but it's going up. And then I cut back down. So I was okay with that. If you're not, do it weekly. But you should be okay with it daily, right? Because if it's working over time and you see it smoothed out over time, why not do it every day? So that's my best advice with that. So I got a couple bonus things. I'll call them tips. They're things that I don't necessarily put in these top 7 things that I've learned and what I'm trying to recommend to other people. But I'll say 3 things. 1, get to a gym, but go with somebody you know. If you find yourself struggling with that, I think this helps out a lot. It's easier to go when you're going with a friend. You're less in your own head about it. You can zone out anything else. You're there with a friend. They'll have free passes. Like all gyms have, like, you can do drop-in fees or even like a free daily pass. So many places do this, but all these gyms give members like a free pass for a friend. That's how they get new business. They want somebody to come and look at it. But my point is, I had over the last year, 13 months now, 8 different friends tell me, Sean, I love what you're doing. It's amazing what you're doing. I really need to get in the gym myself. Oh, hey, come on free. You can use one of my passes. Great. That sounds good. I'll do that. 8. Do you know how many people took me up on that? 1. I had 1 friend take me up on getting a free pass. I'm telling you, if you're on social media, if you're watching this video, you have social media, I guarantee you have friends that go to the gym. There's some that are like me that post. So you know who goes to the gym. We all have free membership passes. So you can find a gym to get to. It has no cost. You can even find gyms that let you do a free day pass. Just get out of your head and go, but it's so much easier if you go with a friend. Point number 2 is like a little bonus tip. If you're new, don't go crazy with these weird workout plans, odd movements, saying you got to shock the muscle into doing X, Y. No. Just working out is a shock to your muscles when you're starting. That's more than enough. All your gains are going to come easy. Assuming you're going for like what I'm doing, which is muscle gain, muscle size. It's basically working out to failure, getting enough sleep and hydration for recovery for those muscle fibers to grow again, and then hitting hard again to failure. Don't worry about all those weird little movements that you see on TikTok and these influencers that say, do X, Y, and Z in reverse, upside down. Like, don't worry about that stuff now. When you hit plateaus, yeah, mix it up. I'm over a year in, and I've really only plateaued on like 2 small things. They're not even any major thing. My point is, I could literally repeat the same workout that I do for chest day every time and still get massive gains. I'm still at that point where everything I do is working. Bread and butter, do the basic things, repeat, keep getting gains. Don't worry about all these crazy things. Third and kind of last little bonus tip, worry less about perfect supplements. So just get to the gym and lift, right? If that's not the whole point of what I want to share with anybody listening to this, just go. You'll learn a lot along the way, including supplements. For example, I have a friend that ends up going to the gym like 2 or 3 times a week for a month, and then 3 or 4 months he won't go, and then he gets the urge to do it and he goes back, and he's like, Sean, your protein powder that you're using is garbage. You got to get this brand, and he pushes a brand on me, something that he uses. And I'll be honest with you, I look at it, and sure, something he's promoting has like 98% purity on some rating, third-party testing, and the stuff I use is like 95% pure. But his costs 3 times as much. So I'm like, okay, you really want me for 3% better quality product, something that's going to be insignificant to somebody not at a high level, and I'm paying 3 times as much? Like, don't worry about that stuff right now. Just get some quality basic stuff. Stick to the things that are just focused, like I mentioned, like creatine, just the powder, just the creatine monohydrate. Don't worry about getting all these other added things on it or doing some crazy stuff with it. Just get the basics and get to the gym. In fact, when you get to the gym, and like if you're a guy, talk to one of the big dudes there. They all focus on nutrition. They all talk about supplements. They are a wealth of knowledge, and they don't mind sharing it. If you're a woman, I see that with all the women too. Share those kind of insights. Just, you'll learn as you go, and then you'll start finding out what really works the best for the best cost price. Don't worry about that stuff before you go. All right. So to wrap it up, I mean, it's been a really good year. I've really enjoyed the gains I'm seeing, but more importantly, how I'm feeling and how I really hate missing the gym when I can go. It just doesn't happen that much. And honestly, those days that I missed, only having 4 where I could have and should have gone, that's, I don't know how many days. It feels like 20, 30, maybe 40 days that I didn't want to. Or when I went, I didn't want to go heavy and go to failure. Those days add up when you do. When you go and do it, they really add up. That's how you get some really big gains. And that's where, in my opinion, it starts to stack. I had some pretty big goals. I'm going to share them here just because I want to. Hit some deadlifting goals, and here's a 315 PR. That was the first time I hit 3 plates, 315, and I tried 3 times in that day. This gym session, so third week in, I finally hit it, and I ended up hitting 325 another time. What can I say? I'm pretty proud of that. So I figured I'd share it here. When I started adding deadlifts to my leg routine, it really, my back started feeling good. Everything started feeling good. I didn't have problems like getting up out of bed, getting in and out of a car, up off the ground. But even though I didn't have problems before, I can tell you everything felt so much easier. Just life in general felt easier once I started adding deadlifts. So anyway, I've had setbacks. Try not to miss the days when you can go and you should go, and they really start adding up. I'm trying to put out a lot more gym content lately. Not just stuff with financial and Bitcoin related. Like if you've already seen some of my playlists, I have like a gym and Bitcoin series, where I end up talking about like what I'm doing at the gym that day or what I just finished up if it's a drive home, just basically car rides, kind of like Sam Sulek type stuff. Tossing a lot of financial education and Bitcoin stuff because it's been pretty important in my life. Gave me financial freedom, is allowing me to have a lot of time to do extra things, not just working out. But do me a favor, at least like this video. It actually really does help looking at how the algorithm works. Obviously, if you subscribe, that would be helpful. It's free. You get notices of my videos. If you don't subscribe, that's okay too. Do me a big favor though. Comment. Tell me some of my favorite comments are friends or people that know me that want to make fun of me. If you don't know me, you can make fun of me too. Also, tell me if you disagree with something I said, or if you just want to be an echo chamber and tell me you agree with something I said or have a recommendation on something. I really appreciate it. But absolutely like the video, and I'm trying to put a little bit more of this type of content out here. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Go on, get out of here.